What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Underdog Lord, this I'm not confused. And I watched Coneheads. Finally I watched it. The sorry. The description says you may not know the tagline says you may not notice them at first, but they are among us. Among us? They are among us? um yeah, there was one thing about this movie that I just didn't feel like, but I will say that at the end. But let's start first with the movie itself, shall we? Oh, and before we start with that, I will only do Coneheads today. It's let's say around 8 o'clock p.m. So yeah, I just feel like doing this movie, and I have still some YouTube to watch. So yeah, that. Let's just start. We see a spaceship, and it's flying to Earth. We're at I don't know what McGuire Air Force Base in Wrightstown, New Jersey. And we see that thing that picks up the satellite, that's turning around and around, on the roof. Then inside we see, the radar going around here, just beep, beep, just what the radar does, And in the back we hear Star Trek, the version with Mr. Spock. I don't know which version it is, if it is with Picard or if it is with William Shatner, who plays Captain Kirk. So I don't know if it is with Kirk or Picard. So it's one or the other, and we see them fighting an alien. I recognize that alien because that alien was also in Big Bang Theory. It is kind of a dinosaur-y, I wouldn't say crocodile, but more like a dinosaur dragon-y, kind of alien, with that head, Um, so if you're Star Trek fans, you have kind of an estimate from what I'm kind of talking about probably. So we see, because the camera is it's going through the room and it's going towards the screen, towards the TV. And now we get, kind of a close-up of the person who is watching said TV. Then the radar in the back suddenly picks up the spaceship that we saw earlier. And when the radar picked it up, immediately through the radio he got somebody on the other line. And we're gonna leave it at that, because if you want to know what's gonna happen next, watch the movie yourself. I hope that I would have thought that I would like Coneheads more than I did. There's the one thing that threw me off was Chris Farley, who played Ronnie. Nothing wrong with him, nothing wrong with him as an actor. But I didn't know how old Ronnie was, because he looks probably older than he actually plays. You know, um, you know, and when I see what I see now, it looked like they were about to get married, but it was homecoming. Um, so that threw me off. He's not gonna marry her, right? Because I didn't know what the fuck his age was. How old is he? Well, not Chris Farley, but how old is Ronnie? Because the first time that we saw him in the movie, he was a mechanic. And she was definitely a teenager, so But yeah, she's also from outer space. Well, basically born on Earth, but still she's from a species from outer space, the Coneheads. So, you know, that threw me just a bit off. Uh, Otherwise, kind of funny. The language that they used, crazy, but with context, you can pick up what they're talking about. Because obviously, because they're from outer space, they use their own language from time to time, or throw in some words that they use. So with context, you can kind of pick up what they're talking about. The prosthetics from how that looked like, it the makeup artist, great job, and the whoever does that, whoever makes it, really good. Looks really good. Well, you can obviously see the difference. You can obviously see where their normal skin stops and where the cone begins. You can see that, but otherwise, it looks good. If you don't pay attention to that, it just looks good. Not that it is super obvious, but you definitely, if you look for it, you can see it. Um, that said, I will give this movie a high 3, low 4. Yes, the movie was decent, but it was just a decent movie. Go watch this movie yourself. Dan Aykroyd, I didn't recognize him actually, and also not Howard, but what's his name? From Better Call Saul, the brother from Saul. What's his name? Chuck. I didn't recognize him. He was so young in this movie. Obviously this is '93, and the actor that I know him as Chuck in Better Call Saul, more 2016, I think. So this is definitely 23 years in between. So I didn't recognize him, but when I heard him speak, I thought, well, I recognize that voice. Where do I recognize it from? But I couldn't place it. So then I looked up the cast. Oh, that's where. Because obviously we have more recent pictures, so I recognize him when he's older. Also, David Spade, very young. Nice to see him. And Dan Aykroyd, I also didn't recognize him actually. I didn't recognize him at all. Even though, at the beginning, in the when the names come from who are in it. I saw Dan Aykroyd as well. Oh, Dan Aykroyd! But I just didn't recognize him. You know? This is also 13 years after Blues Brothers. And, well, 7 years before Blues Brothers 2000. Or 6. Yeah. But I've really low for. Leave likes, recommend a good Chris Farley movie down below in the comment section, or Dan Aykroyd movie down below in the comment section, or David Spade, or Go Place, Chuck. Down below in the comment section, subscribe to the channel, come join Discord, and see you guys tomorrow for Spawn. Ooh, Spawn. Very excited.